Hi everybody, it's Mrs. Garibaldi with Thursday's math lesson. So today we're going to be working on squares and rectangles, and I wanted to start this lesson with a really awesome, give me one second, sorry guys, a really awesome song from Jack Hartman. I love this one. And so let me share my screen with you so that you can see it too. Give me 1 second. Here we go. All right, are you guys ready to sing along? Let me go ahead and make this big. And here we go. This is all about a square.
Sing along, children's songs, make your brain and body strong. I'm a square, over here and over there. I have 4 equal sides, made of 4 straight lines. 1, 2, 3, 4. I kinda look like a box, from my bottom to my top. I don't have any hair, now draw me in the air. Make a straight line up, another straight line over, another straight line down, a straight line back to the start, and we're there. Oh, I'm a square, I'm a square, I'm a square. I'm a square, over here and over there. I have 4 equal sides, made of 4 straight lines. 1, 2, 3, 4. I got like a box from my bottom to my top. I don't have any hair, now draw me in the air. 1 straight line up, another straight line over, another straight line down, a straight line back to the start, and we're there. I'm a square, I'm a square, I'm a square. I'm a square, I'm a square, I'm a square.
Nice. I love that. So squares have 4 equal sides, and we're going to be talking about squares today in our math book. So make sure you have your enVisions Volume 2 math book and a crayon or a pencil, and go ahead and turn to page 473, and let's get started. Perfect. All right, so I am on page 473, and you can see right here in the corner, and it has a picture of Emily. And let me zoom out a smidge. Choop, choop, choop. There we go. All right, so then you guys can see. Whoops. All righty, here we go. This page says, Emily has a large quilt on her bed. The shape outlined with black lines is a rectangle. So this right here, this line and this line and that line make a rectangle. Her bed is a rectangle. Now, rectangles have 4 sides, but they're not equal like a square. 2 sides are long and 2 sides are short. Okay? So the rectangular quilt is made up of square rectangles of different colors. So how many other rectangles can you find in this picture? How many rectangles are squares? Count the shapes and tell where you see them. So let's take a look. You'll notice that these are squares because they have equal sides. So that is the same as that. It's the same length, okay? So that's a square, and that's a square, and there's a square, and that's a square, and that's a square, and that's a square. And when they're all put together, they form a rectangle. All right, and so let's see how many other rectangles and squares we can find. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I guess we can count 10. Can you spy any more? I don't know. I think that's all I see. So how many of those are squares? So squares, remember, have equal sides. So the bed is not a square, but all of these inside are. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Does this have equal sides? No. So this is not a square. What about the inside of the rug? Yeah, that's a square. They have equal sides. So that's 7. And you can even count this bigger. That looks like it is also a square, the purple outside. Guess that's purple. Maybe it's blue. So that would be 8. So I spy 8 squares. All right, let's go ahead and turn the page. And we're going to go to page 474. 474. Oh, you'll see that I'm getting ready for science next. I'm going to do our science lesson next. All right, so 474. You'll see Emily again here. And she has now, looks like, yep, she's drawing it. She drew a rectangle. And she found something in her home that was a rectangle. Hey, maybe we could play the shapes game instead of the color game from now on. So she found a rectangle in her house. Then she drew a square. And this square is actually on its side, but it's still a square. And look, she found a square cracker. Good idea, Emily. So now let's look at number 1. You'll see the author has done number 1 for us, but let's look and see what they've done. It says, color the rectangles in each row and then mark an X on each rectangle that is also a square, okay? So rectangles have 4 sides. Okay, so you'll notice that they have colored in each of the rectangles. And then they had us put an X. Whoop, oh dear, I broke my crayon. Then they have you put an X on the rectangle that is a square. So that's a square, okay? So we're gonna do the same thing for number 2, okay? So for number 2, they want us to color each of the rectangles. So 4 sides, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, that's a rectangle. All right, this is a rhombus, right? Because it doesn't have these angles like that, the square angles on the side. So that's actually a rhombus. It looks like a diamond, so its fancy name's rhombus. And that's a circle. And what about this? Oh, it's a square, so we're gonna color that one in too. And it has 4 equal sides, and so we're gonna put an X on it, okay? So we're gonna keep going. So let's turn the page to page 475. And we're gonna look at number 3, okay? Now it says we're gonna color the rectangles in each row and then mark an X on each of the rectangles that is also a square. So we're gonna do the same thing. So here's a rectangle. That looks like it has equal sides here. This must be a square rectangle. Now this one is a trapezoid. That's a trapezoid, I know that shape. And this is a triangle, so we're not going to color any of those, but oh, I forgot to put an X on the square rectangle. All right, let's keep going. Now it says on number 4, we've got to do the same thing. So is that a square? Is that a rectangle? No. There's an oval. And look, is this a rectangle? It is. So let's go ahead and color in this rectangle. All right, and is this a square? It's not a square rectangle because this has a really long side and this has a shorter side. So see how it's stretched out? So that's how I know it's not a square rectangle. Now let's look at this one. We've got 4 equal sides. So this one is a square rectangle. So I'm going to color it in and then I'm going to cross it out. There we go. Now let's look at number 5. Number 5 says, draw a circle around the objects that look like rectangles. And then mark an X on each rectangle. Oh wait, hold on. Sorry, I started reading another line. Here we go. Draw a circle around the objects that look like a rectangle, then mark an X on each object that also looks like a square. Okay, so we're gonna circle all of the rectangles and then put an X on the ones that are square rectangles, okay? Here we go. So let's start here with this picture. I guess it's a window, not a picture frame, it's a window. So is that a rectangle? Does it have 4 equal sides, you guys? It doesn't. Look, it even has, look, there's even squares inside the square. Nice, perfect. Now what about this cool pony puzzle? Yeah, let's circle that one too. That one looks like a rectangle. And it looks like it has 4 equal sides. So that also is a square. All right, is that? No way. It just has one curved line. That can't be a rectangle. Ooh, what about this one? Is this a rectangle? Yeah, it is. But are the sides the same? Are the sides the same length? No. So that one, we're not going to X that one out. We're just going to circle it. Ooh, what about this clock? Yeah, that one's a circle because I see it has one curved line around. What about this? Looks like it's a folded blanket. It's a triangle. Ooh, what about this? This looks like a circle. They gave us a lot of circles today, didn't they? And look at this beautiful painting of a bumblebee and some flowers. Yeah, that's a rectangle. Does it have 4 equal sides? Are the sides the same length? No, that one's long and that one's shorter. All right, we did it, you guys. Yeah, because this plate is also a circle. They gave us lots of circles today. Now let's go ahead and let's turn the page to page 476. 476. Now this is the page that you guys are going to snap a picture of and upload to Edsby for today's assignment. So I'm going to read the directions for each of these, okay? And you're going to follow along and complete this page, and then you'll upload it to today's math assignment. Here we go. So on number 6, and this actually, the directions go for number 6, 7, 8, and 9. So 6, 7, 8, and 9, the directions are all the same. And it says you're going to color in the rectangles in each row and then put an X on each rectangle that is a square, okay? This yellow is pretty light, but there's one here. Let's do this first row together. So let's color in the rectangles, okay? So this is a rectangle. We'll do this first one together, okay? And then we don't color that in. And look, even though this one is on its side and kind of is pretending to be a diamond, it has 4 equal sides. So if I kind of turn it a little bit, you could see that it would be a square. In fact, I'll turn the page so you can kind of look at it that way. So you can see, let me zoom in. So notice how it's a square, okay? And in fact, we'll make it that way so it's kind of flush. Let me zoom in a little bit more. So even though it's turned, it's still a square. So a square is a square even if you spin it. It will always be a square, okay? So even though it's up on its tippy top point, we will still color that one in. And it said for any of the rectangles that are squares, we will put an X on. Okay, so I'm gonna zoom out. Alrighty, and then you will see that I've colored in both of the rectangles and then I put an X on the rectangles that are also a square, okay? So I want you to do the same thing for row 7. You're gonna do that one on your own. You're gonna color in only the rectangles and then put an X on the rectangle that is a square. Rectangle. Perfect, and then you're gonna do the same thing for number 8 and number 9. So go ahead and pause the video until you complete 7, 8, and 9. All right, so now you finished 7, 8, and 9, and we're gonna go on to number 10, so listen to the directions. You gotta listen really carefully, okay? It says, draw a green rectangle, and then draw a yellow square. So down here on number 10, draw a green rectangle, and then draw a yellow square. And once you have done that, take a picture of this page, upload it into Edsby under today's assignment, and you'll be all set. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing the screen. If you need to go back, you can always rewind my videos, you can always pause, you can always replay. And so I hope you enjoyed this lesson about squares and rectangles, and I hope you have a wonderful Thursday, and I hope to see you tomorrow at our live Zoom lesson at 9 o'clock. Have a great day. Goodbye.